It's the Racing Postcast, brought to you by the Racing Post, sponsored by Unibet, the show that gives you all the short, snappy tips for the weekend's action. Wetherby, Ascot, Downroll and Del Mar are on the agenda this week. A really busy week of racing coming up. And I'm joined by a top panel of tipsters. We've got Jonny Pearson and Harry Wilson. And no pressure, Brett Williams, but a 10-1 winner and 12-1 winner from Ed on last week's show. So you've got to deliver this week. We've got something for everyone though, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cracking weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, we had the Champions Day at Ascot a couple of weeks ago. We had that little sort of appetizer at Cheltenham last Friday and Saturday. But the jump season really does step into gear this weekend. The Charlie Hill Chase, always a race. You know, it does produce future stars and those proper stalwarts of the chasing game. And of course, if you're not done with the flat racing, there's also the small match of the Breeders' Cup from Dalmar. So as you said, there really is something for everyone.
Yeah, plenty of offers from Unibet on all the ITV races. I think bar one this weekend. So Brett will be bringing you all of the offers across the show. Let's get straight into it then, guys. And we'll kick off at Wetherby with the Charlie Hall Chase, a Grade 2 contest over 3 miles, 257 there at Wetherby. And Unibet's market currently has Protectorat as the 85-40 favourite. Hewitt's 100-30. Pick Dorey 7-2. Jello is 4-1. The Real Whacker 13-2. And Garlaw is 16-1. Jonny Pearson, is it too much of a surprise to see Hewitt turn up in this race this season?
Not overly. I think they're sort of targeting the 3 mile chase division as they have been last few seasons. And, you know, interestingly, he had a run in a hurdle at Thurles last week or 2 weeks ago even. And that was, I mean, that was well below his best, but he just won it as easily as he liked. So he's going to be fit and ready to run here. But I think he's got a bit to find on form with Protectorat, who's, in my mind, the most likely winner. You look at his form last season, especially at Aintree, you know, second to John Bond, over 2.5 miles, very good. That win at Windsor, where he beat Jello by 23 lengths, was so impressive. And I think he's the best horse in the race, so he's the one I want to be with him.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that. And that, yeah, second to John Bond at Aintree was superb. Harry Wilson, any agreement there?
Not from me today, Sam. I looked at this race on Tuesday, and the word I wrote down was horrible, because it's a race full of good horses, and to be fair, any of them could win. I did like the fact that Hewitt had a prep run, but I'm going to take them all on with Pick Dorey. He's untried at 3 mile, which is the only concern that I have with him. I have more pressing concerns with the rest of them. He does have to give £6 away to Protectorat and Hewitt, which might prove a bit too much. But I think he loves good ground. I think he might even improve for 3 mile. And I've got a problem with Hewitt going left-handed. I think he jumps badly left-handed. And Protectorat's been pretty poor in his last 2 reappearances, so I think Pick Dorey's the most solid at the prices.
Yeah, Pick Dorey 7-2 currently with Unibet. Where's the money been going, Brett, in this race? Has Protectorat seemed fairly solid at the top of the market?
Yeah, I mean, he's been steady away. He was Pick Dorey was much closer to him at the top of the market, but that sort of just eased out now, and Pick Dorey's drifted out a little bit. And we will be top industry price every single runner in this race, so you're definitely going to get the best odds. But I agree with everything that Harry said. I'm pretty keen on Pick Dorey. I think he could be interested in stepping up to this trip for the first time. Obviously, the only concern is that's that £6 Group 1 penalty for winning the Ascot Chase last year. So that is a bit of a concern. Bearing in mind, of course, he's rated lower than Protectorat, so he's not well off at the weights at all. But you know, Paul Nicholls has got a great record in this race. If you look at the Roll of Honour, they've won it for the Master of Ditchy. You know, I think Surname, Brave Man's Game, Silvernacle, Conti, Seymour Business. So it's a real good Roll of Honour for Paul Nicholls, and he wouldn't be running a horse here if he didn't think he'd have a good chance. And as Harry's also alluded to, he does love good ground. Whether he's going to be an out-and-out stare over the 3 miles on soft ground sort of come the middle of January is questionable, but I think on good ground, 3 miles, first run of the season, might be the time to catch him. And said, just to reiterate, we will be top industry price every single runner.
Yeah, it's top industry price on, I think it's midday on Saturday. Unibaby top industry price on the Charlie Hall Chase. We've got 2 votes for Pick Dorey, 2 votes for Protectorat. Let us know down in the comments who you fancy in the big one at Wetherby. We move on now to 222, which is the 3 mile Bet365 hurdles. It's a Grade 2 contest. And we've got a fair field here as well. We've got a strong leader at the top of the market at 6-4. Potter's Charm is 15-8. Take No Chances 5-1. Winter Fog 7-1. and Doddy the Great is a 10-1 shot. Harry Wilson, you said that you wrote one word down for the Charlie Hall and it was horrible. What was the one word for this race?
This one was difficult. Because the favourite strong leader obviously has the best form. Like that run at Aintree, and like he won it the year before. He's pretty solid. But can you trust him at that sort of price? Like I just think he was a bit awkward on his first start last year, beating Monmoral, who's no great shakes in the staying division. And I don't know, I probably prefer him on a bit softer ground as well. So it's another one I'm going to take on the favourite, and I sort of landed on Take No Chances. Just the fact that she's had a prep run for this. She's another one who's a bit unexposed at 3 miles. She's mostly campaigned at 2.5 last year. She beat Cargisi at Ascot in January, which is a really strong piece of form. She was actually tried over 3 miles last year, and she had form figures of 2.114, I think. So she has no problem staying the trip. I just think with that run behind her, she might just be a bit fitter than the first 2 in the market.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's good form. I mean, look at that. You say that race with Ascot with Cargisi. Cargisi's definitely one to watch this season. David Jennings has put this horse up as one to follow. And the form behind Lossiemouth as well is really strong. We could see some improvement from Take No Chances. Brett, I know you potentially have one in this race. Who did you like?
Yeah, I'm going to sort of see as if I'm just following everything that Harry says, but I agree with everything he said about Take No Chances. Strong leader, I'm just thinking he might probably come on for his first run. Obviously, Potter's Chum's having his first start since having a wind operation, so that may just eke out a little bit more from him stepping up in trip. And it just brings you down to Take No Chances. You said she has had that run. She was actually entered in the mare's hurdle on this same card. So I think it's interesting that Connections have opted to run her in this. That's got to obviously be quite significant. And I wouldn't have any worries about the distance, as Harry's already alluded to. She's won twice over the trip. She's a point-to-point winner as well. So, there's no reason to suggest that this won't end up being her optimal. We will be price boosting a runner in this race, so make sure you check out Unibet socials for the price boost in this race. I should just say, Sam, I was at Newbury on Monday. Nicky Henderson galloped a few horses there on the track, including Doddy the Great, who worked with the likes of Excello, Ginny's Destiny, and one other whose name I forgot. Jingo Blue. Worked really well. The 4 of them in a nice group together. And I think he was so pleased with Doddy the Great, he thought, well, actually, I'm going to enter him. So I stood next to him as he actually entered Doddy the Great in this race. So that could be a bit of a tip in itself. Obviously, he's a sort of quite a biggish price. I think he was around sort of 12, 14 to 1, isn't he? But he could be quite interesting, bearing in mind that Nicky Henderson thought he worked that well that he's going to enter him in the race and let him take his chance. But I think realistically, the fact she's had a run, Take No Chances could be the one to chance with in this.
Okay, yeah, Take No Chances, 2 votes there. I don't need to go to Jonny Pearson. I know these guys are quite keen on this horse, and Johnny, you haven't really got a selection. But
No, you're wrong.
I was wrong.
Absolutely wrong. There's only one place to look here. I don't know how much racing you've watched the last few weeks, but Sean Bowen and Ollie Murphy can do very little wrong. They've got the best horse in the race, with the best form in the race, the best jockey in the race, trainer who's flying, easy as can be, strong leader wins.
Wow. Well, I've been shut down there. Two votes for Take No Chances, and then Johnny's come in, shut me down, and said the favourite just goes and win this. I mean, the form of Sean Bowen and Ollie Murphy is obviously fairly strong, and there's been plenty said on that with the back-to-back 4-timers from him last week. But yeah, 6-4 currently favourite. You can get a price boost with Unibet. Do remember that Brett's given you all the details there for that. Right, we'll move on to the next race, which is it's the Mare's Hurdle. It's a 2-mile race, the 150 at Wetherby, and it's a free runner event. Golden Ace is the 5-2 on favourite. Katira's 130, and Dysart Enos is 6-1. I'm expecting a little bit of silence here in terms of selections, but is anyone going to be against the favourite Golden Ace? And we move straight over to Brett then, who will say that we're probably going to have like some punters might want to, look at the distances for the Unibet champion hurdle winner. It's weird saying that she's a Unibet champion hurdle winner, but look, she is. There will be markets for this, will there, on the day?
Yeah, as you said, she's odds on at the minute, and that's obviously going to be the way she'll jump off as well. But yeah, they go onto our website on the morning, and there will be lots of specials. I've just spoken to our trainers. There'll be lots of initiatives to get people involved. If you want to have a bet, of course, and she's, you never know, she'll win this probably. She'll win it well, and her price may just shorten for the Unibet Champion Hurdle, for which at the moment, she's 25-1, which might not be bad value at the moment in a picture. Obviously, we're way out to March, but it's still a very, very open shape, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not sure it will fall into. She'll get lucky for it to fall into her lap like she did this year, to be fair. But we'll just have to wait and see. But we see her reappear on Saturday at Wetherby. We do check out Unibet for any of the specials in that race. Anything else at Wetherby? Spoke to the guys before the show, and Brett, you've just got another extra one just to add in before we go on to the next races.
Yeah, there's a good little 2-mile handicap hurdle at 3:30. Looks really competitive, but there's a horse of Alan King's called Don't Mind If I Do, which I think could be quite progressive. I mean, Alan doesn't put his horses in at the deep end unless he thinks they're capable of acquitting themselves well. And this horse very, very lightly raced. He was second in a bumper, the big Goffs bumper at Newbury behind Regent Stroll, place in a maid, and then went and won at Wincanton. Handicap debut here off a mark of 120, I think could be quite significant. And as a lot of people know, Alan sort of has just reduced his jump string down a little bit, so he's only going to be training horses that he thinks are going to be the Saturday horse. He doesn't want to be running around, sort of Taunton on a Tuesday. He wants the big guns running. So I just think Don't Mind If I Do. He's been backed as well. Could be interesting in that 3:30 at Wetherby.
Don't mind if I do. Then one to note in the 3:30. There is so much action on ITV on Saturdays. You don't need to have a bet in every single race. Only gamble with money you can afford to. That's the MO here at the Racing Post and at Unibet. So yeah, lots of action going on. This week's VT that we go to before we get into our next race, a little bit of a special one. Unibet on Wednesday marked 2,000 races of sponsorship at Kempton Park. And here's a little bit more on that.
Kempton Park, home to racing's unforgettable moments. And for many of them, a trusted partner by our side, Unibet. Today we celebrate a milestone. 2,000 races sponsored by Unibet at Kempton Park. A partnership built on passion and a shared love of racing. It began in 2017 when Bouverdere became the first Unibet sponsored winner at Kempton Park, claiming the Grade 1 Christmas hurdle. A fitting start to a story that continues to this day. Since then, Unibet races have crowned National Hunt heroes. Altior, Politolog and Frodon, names that have thrilled racegoers, lifted hearts, and left a lasting mark on racing history. And on the all-weather, stars like Enable, Kalpana, Mostadaf and Rebels Romance have carried the Unibet banner to glory, bringing world-class racing to Kempton all year round. Unibet support has helped us deliver unforgettable moments, race after race, season after season. Today we celebrate not just 2,000 races, but a partnership built on trust, excitement, and a shared love of the sport. Thank you, Unibet, for your continued support, and here's to the next chapter in Kempton Park's history.
Welcome back to the Racing Postcast, brought to you by the Racing Post, sponsored by Unibet. Sam Hart here alongside Harry Wilson, Jonny Pearson and Brett Williams from Unibet. And Brett, a fantastic achievement for Unibet on Wednesday, 2,000 races. It's something to celebrate.
It is, yeah. You look at some of the horses that have won races sponsored by Unibet, and I tell you what, it is quite an illustrious roll of honour. Enable won the Unibet September Stakes. Kalpana, of course, she won races for us as well in the same colours. Bouverdere on the jumps, Altior, Frodon. It is a pretty good list, and Unibet, real proud to be sponsoring those races at Kempton, and of course at 26 other tracks in the UK. That's worth mentioning as well. I think we're going to add Hexham to our cross country list, and we're sponsoring now. I think it's on the 7th of November. We've got 2 races sponsoring there, so that's a new track to add to our roster. And let's hope for 2,000 more.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And yeah, if you haven't headed down to Kempton Park on a Wednesday night under the lights and the weather, it is a really fantastic evening. So do recommend doing so. Let's get into the rest of the racing that we're going to cover on ITV. And we go to Ascot next. The 3:45 is where we're going to start, which is the 3-mile Sodexo Live Gold Cup Handicap Chase. And this looks like a really open race. The Changing Man's currently topping the market at 3-1. Henry's Friend is 9-2. Neon Moon is 7-1. Baloo for Nicky Henderson. Nico de Boinville here from Brett on this horse, 15-2. Blow Your Wad is 15-2. Lecoq Hardy is also 15-2. Marble Sands 8-1, double figures about the rest of the field. I say that we're going to get a little bit of a word on Baloo, Brett, hoping that you actually have had some sort of word. What do we know?
Well, all I can tell you is he's in training and he's running until the ground changes. As soon as it goes soft, he's going to go back to Dash Grange Stud for a holiday and then come back for a spring campaign. So whilst the ground at the moment is like it is, he's there to take his chance. He won, I think, actually at this meeting last year, didn't he, Balu? The Novice Chase, I think he beat Bad, didn't he? Yeah, he'll like the ground. He's been well backed as well. And obviously Nico de Boinville rides. This is a cracking little race, isn't it? We will be paying 4 places each way in this, which just makes it a little bit easier because, you can make a case for quite a few of them. I quite like the changing man. He's got some strong form in the book. He won the Reynolds down here last year. That's obviously pretty smart. He was placed in a grade 1 at Aintree, second in the Ultima, not badly handicapped. So for me, and what is an open race? I think perhaps the changing man might be the one to side with, but just one horse we should just give a mention to. He will win a big one day, is Blow Your Wad. I have blown quite a few quid on this horse before, but he's going to win a big one sooner or later. He's had a wind up, he's got the tongue tie, he's got the visor, he's got the kitchen sink, he's got everything thrown at him. So you never know, it could be the day for Blow Your Wad on Saturday, but I'm going to go against him and go for the changing man.
Changing man, then we've got extra places from Unibet in this race here, and there were smiles from Jonny Pearson as you talked about Blow Your Wad. I don't know whether this is your fancy, Johnny, but who do you like in this?
Blow Your Wad is very much the horse who I thought would have a very good chance of winning this race. You've got a lot of question marks. He's had his wind up. He's got the tongue tie and the visor for the first time, and he's been a bit disappointed. But he's also, he's been running in Grade 1 races at Aintree, in around. Twice last season, and both those were after New Year. At Aintree, he was okay. It was a long way beaten, but he's running in Grade 1. He's come down a bit in the handicap from his peak of 145. He's a 142. Tom Lacey's been, his horses are in all right form, and at the prices, he should be a shorter price than he is sort of what I decided here, and I'm willing to take a chance. If he runs well here, you're not going to get this price about him again, and I wouldn't like to miss it.
There's an actual vote there for Blow Your Wad. Brett definitely will be having a couple of quid on that as a saver then by the sound of things on Saturday. Harry Wilson, who do you fancy here?
I'm leaning towards Marble Sands here, Sam. He actually reappeared on the flat at Goodwood, and he ran a cracking race. He only got beaten neck. That was a career best on the flat in terms of RPRs, and he prepped for this. He prepped for last season in a similar manner, but he fared a lot better this time than he did this time around last year. On his first jump start last year, he won the Colin Parker, which is really solid form, and I think this might be the time to catch him. He's very unexposed at 3 mile. He's had a couple of goes early in his career. He ran the Cowtoe Star. And he ran in the rehearsal chase as a novice. He came third in the rehearsal chase, having been hung out with the washing out the back and staying on for third. But I think this might be the time to catch him, and this has definitely been the plan. So I think now is the time to catch Marble Sands.
Okay, that's Marble Sands and Harry Wilson. That's Blow Your Wad for Jonny Pearson. And it's the changing man with a little tentative vote towards Blow Your Wad as well for Brett Williams. Remember, extra places there in the Sodexo Live Gold Cup Handicap Chase, which is the feature there at Ascot. Their big other handicap chase they've got there is the 205, which is the Grundon Waste Management Handicap Chase over 2 mile, 1 furlong, where Load of Sud is the 3-1 favourite, Masterdoor's 11-2, Boot Hill 6-1, Special Cadeau's 8-1, Sambri and General Medrano, they're 17-2, 10-1 about Isard Dairy, and looking at biggers, the rest in here. To you first, Mr. Wilson, who do you like?
Yeah, I've landed on General Medrano here for Emma Lavelle. She started the season in fine form, 35% as of 2 weeks ago on Tuesday. It's 27% now, so she's still going well. I just think catching him first time out is the way to go. He's got reappearance form figures since chasing of 1-2, and last season he ran into Dr. TJ Eckelberg on his reappearance. And that horse ended the season £16 higher, and he also confirmed that this mark wasn't beyond him when he bumped into Petit Tonnerre at Doncaster later in the season. He's £1 lower here, and Petit Tonnerre is £12 worse off today. With Emma Lavelle in such good form, I think General Medrano might just be the one.
Okay, General Medrano then for Harry Wilson, the Elite Racing colours there. Jonny Pearson, I know you've got one in this race.
Yeah, I mean, I might be losing my marbles a bit here. I'm not entirely sure. Well, I thought Shake Your Tail Feather was interesting for Dan Skelton. Harry Aitkins claimed 7, and he won not the best race last time at Kelso by 7 lengths, and he's been put up £9 for it. But I got the impression there's still more to come. He's an improving horse. He obviously wants sorry, it's not he, it's she. She obviously wants good ground. She's been on the go through the summer a little bit, but not over racing. The form behind Bally's has been franked, who actually ran very well in the American Grand National the other week, for those who didn't get a chance to watch that. She's definitely got a bit to find on figures. But 15, 16 to 1, something like that. I think she can bring a bit of a surprise. An improving 6-year-old. I think it might be worth taking a chance on her. And I think there's more to come from her this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shake Tail Feather. Yeah, looks fair price there. And I'm sure we can get some each way extra places in a race like this. I'm hoping so anyway, Brett Williams.
Of course you can, yeah. 4 places again each way. And as a Brucey bonus, if you back the second or the third, you're going to get your money back as cash. So 4 places, money back second or third. Easy peasy. Good race though, isn't it? I like this one. Martator is the horse that I've sort of tentatively leaned towards. So I think sort of his form tailed off a little bit sort of mid-end season, but sort of in the lead up to winning this race last year, he was, hit a real rich vein of form. He's a 3-time winner over course and distance. He's come down, I think, to quite, certainly more workable mark anyway, obviously down to 141. As opposed to his last winning mark of 140. I mean, you don't see many Venetia Williams horses running at this time of year, especially on good ground. But this is one of those rare horses that does sort of handle a better surface. So for me, Martator in what's an interesting little race. I like Lotus Sud. In fact, I'm sitting in the car park here at Stratford, Sam. This day 12 months ago, Lotus Sud won his first run over fences here in the Handicap. And that's actually the last time he ran in the Handicap. So he's back, down in grade, having been competing at a much higher level. So he's obviously interesting with Tristan Durrell taking a valuable £5 off his back. But no, I'm going to go for, we love a bit of winning by Queen Venetia Williams. So Martator for me in a race where, as I said, 4 places and money back second or third.
That's a busy weekend of action on ITV and Unibet with plenty of offers across the whole weekend. Do head over to the website for all the details there. Let's go to Down Royal for their big race. This is also being shown on the ITV card. The 240 there is the Champion Chase Grade 1 contest. And Envoi Allen is the 7-4 favourite. Spillane Towers 9-4. Western Fold 9-2. Founder 50 11-2. Affordable Fury is 12-1 along with Stellar Story. And then 200-1 shot. There's been plenty of them going and winning over the last 6 months or so. Flash Collonge is at the bottom of the market. Now, look, you've got the third from the Ryanair and Envoi Allen at 7-4. You've got the second in the Punches Down Gold Cup last time out in Spillane's Tower. Last season, Jonny Pearson, we had the likes of Envoi Allen, Hewitt, Jerry Colombe, Delta Work in a race like this. Do we see this as a really good contest once again?
It looks a pretty decent race on paper, yeah. And I mean, you mentioned Envoi Allen. He's won it twice in the last 3 years. Yeah. A race they target every season. He's going to be cherry ripe for it. And for all I think 2-1 favourite's a bit short, I'm not sure he's quite the horse he was. He's still very good on his day, and I think he'll run well. But I mean, Western Fold's obviously an improving horse. Founder 50. Very good form in the book as well. But I think Spillane's Tower is, he's absolutely thumped by Galopin de Chantilly last season. But on his form at the start of the season at Punch, he only ran 3 times last season. Second to Fact File at Punch 10 last November is up there with the best piece of form of any of them in the race here. And I think provided he gets to 3 miles without any issues, and provided he's back to the horse that he was showing he was going to be, he's definitely the one I think has got the best chance of winning, and Spillane's Tower is going to be a bet for me here.
Yeah, Spillane's Tower, definitely the one that's got certainly more improvement in him. Harry Wilson, any agreement there or disagreement?
Yeah, I completely agree with Jonny. Dan Roy, I think, predicted about 26 mil of rain as well. So a horse who loves the mud. I can't really see him getting beat, to be honest.
Okay, 2 votes. This feels like the hat-trick horse of the weekend. It really does feel like it. And Brett Williams, go score that hat-trick for us.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything that Johnny and Harry have just said. You know, he's an improving horse. He's only 7 years old, as opposed to Envoi Allen, who's 11, shortly going to be turning 12. So there's much more improvement expected to come from Spillane's Tower. He gets the trip, which I think he probably will. You know, he's got some rock solid form. He hasn't won for since Puncher's Down 24, but he's been very lightly raced since then. He's been non-run on a few occasions as well. So he's, as I said, he's still a very lightly raced. And for me, what's a good renewal, we could hopefully see him emerge as perhaps a Gold Cup contender in March.
Yeah, let's hope.
I should say price boost. I've written it down. I've got to say it. Price boost in that race.
I was going to say, yeah, we hadn't had the offer in that race yet, so we're waiting for that one. But there you go, price boost in the Down Royal Championship.
I can't understand my writing. That's a problem. Can you understand this? I've got. What does that mean? Oh, upside down.
There you go. Right, there is other action from Ascot and Down Royal. This time, Harry Wilson, it's up to you to give us those selections.
Yeah, I think the best bet on the entire Ascot card could be Alexi in the 310. He shaped incredibly well on his reappearance behind Celtic Dino in the Welsh Champion Hurdle. I just think he might have even finished closer to the winner had the winner not jumped badly at the last, which might sound really strange. But the winner took a really awful jump at the last, and it sort of put Alexi off, and he lost his momentum and could only manage second. But this is a horse that I really liked last year. He finished 4th in what is a red-hot listed race at Exeter in February. Runner-up Regent Stroll, who went down narrowly in the Mersey at Aintree, and the 3rd Julius de Picton's won the Sefton. It's a really strong piece of form. And I think Fingal Bridge, the winner of that race, just as an extra one this year over fences. He's actually my horse to follow this season, if anyone's interested. So yeah, Alexi, he's off the same mark as in the Welsh Champion Hurdle, even though he improved his RPR by £6. And I think he's got it all going for him.
There we go. Alexi then, around a 3-1 shot for the 310 at Ascot on Saturday. Joe Tizard and Brendan Powell there. After this short break, we are going to be getting some Breeders' Cup selections. But before then, we did have our official Race Post Breeders' Cup preview with Blood Horse. Here's a quick clip of Callum Helliwell, who's on the show, talking about one of the hot favourites in the races this weekend.
How do we assess this race, Callum? I thought this was one of the trickier ones of the evening, if I'm honest.
She's the worst favourite on the entire weekend. She feels pretty. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why she's top of the market. She scrambled home to beat the horse that she beat last time out, the other Godolphin horse. Diamond Rain. I mean, she was scrambling home to beat Diamond Rain. See the Fire's got far better form all the way through. I mean, look, She Feels Pretty wins grade 1s, but they're fillies only grade 1s on the turf in the US. Let's not get overexcited about that too much. I think Cinderella's Dream, who got a stinker of a ride last time from William Buick, last year in this race last year. They rode her to get the trip. My goodness, she got the trip. She flew home down the fence, having been given far too much of a patient ride. If she gets a much more confident ride on this occasion, I think she's going to be really, really hard to beat. I know there's been a lot of talk about Bedtime Story, the horse who could potentially come from well off the speed and come through, but if you like her, you've got to like Jazora, who's beaten her twice. Then Stella Fire knows a key hope from the US, will be front running. I'm a little bit concerned about just her going hard in front. I think she's just a stayer rather than she's maybe not got that class or tactical speed that I'd want here. So Cinderella's Dream would be the pick to be. I couldn't run further from She Feels Pretty. I think she gets beat. I just run away from She Feels Pretty. She won't look pretty on Saturday night.
Sam Hart here alongside Jonny Pearson, Harry Wilson and Brett Williams for the final part of this week's Racing Postcast, brought to you by the Race Post, sponsored by Unibet. And yes, Callum, clearly not a fan of She Feels Pretty in that Breeders' Cup Fillies and Mares turf race. Breeders' Cup then, gents. Plenty of jumps action going on in Britain, but some real top quality flat action going on over the other side of the pond. And Jonny Pearson, I know you're a massive fan of the dirt racing and all of the top class flat action. So let's have a nap and a next best from you for the Breeders' Cup night.
The nap for the Breeders' Cup was originally going to be Sovereignty in the Classic, but he's now unfortunately not running. But we are going to stick with the Classic, and the nap's now going to be Sierra Leone. Came second last time. but don't read too much into that. There was a horse that came down. He ended up a mile back. To actually finish second was a minor miracle in itself. He should be favourite, and yet you can still get 3-1 about him, which is fast, which is just amazing. So I'd snap that up if you can. And the next best is going to be a Charlie Appleby horse in the Fillies and Mares Turf, but it's not Cinderella's Dream. It's going to be Diamond Rain. She was second behind She Feels Pretty last time, but she probably should have won the race.
Yeah,
and she looked really good on her 2 runs in the UK this season, both on reappearance at Haydock and then winning at Newmarket. Newcastle even, and she's got a lot of upside. It's going to be she's too big a price basically. The fancy horses are going to be Gazora, Cinderella's Dream, See the Fire, Diamond Rain's going under the radar, and I really like her chances.
Okay, yeah, I agree with Diamond Rain. I'm a big fan of this horse. Probably one of my bets of the night, to be totally honest, is the Charlie Appleby second string. Harry Wilson, nap and a next best from you on Breeders' Cup night, please.
I think the best bet at Breeders' Cup has to be Notable Speech. It's taken a while to get going this season, but he has caught fire. How he didn't win the Jacques Lamar, I'm not quite sure, but he made up for that in the Woodbine Mile last time. He's well suited to American racing, and I can see him winning the mile. I think that's 11:05 on Saturday. And the next best, I'm going to take a punt on She's Quality. Horse who never wins, but I think this could be her day. I've been waiting for a 5 furlong quick. It didn't happen for her in the Nunthorpe for whatever reason. I think she was possibly on the wrong side. I just think she's going to pop up in one of these big races, and the sprint is a nightmare for punters, as we know, for our group races throughout the season. And I think she might just pop up at a nice price.
Yep, okay, can totally see it. And Brett Williams, as much as you're going to be probably at some jump course in the pouring rain, cold as anything, you'll still have some sort of fancy out there in California.
Yeah, it's very much chalk and cheese, isn't it? I'll be up at Wetherby in probably 5-degree temperatures, as opposed to like everybody else in Dalmar where it's probably 30 degrees. It's a cracking couple of days, isn't it? I always look forward to it. I always sort of start off watching the first couple of races and think, right, I'll try and make it through to the last race of the night, and then sort of comes to about 1 o'clock and I fall asleep. But you can catch it all on Twitter the next morning, so it's a lot easier. No, I'm looking forward to seeing Gustad, I think, in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. You know, he was obviously very smart at the start of the season when he won the Coventry. Then, of course, you've got Minnie Hawk, who's in the Breeders' Cup Turf. She's taken on Rebels Romance, who's just been a revelation for Godolphin, hasn't he? Minnie Hawk as well ran a cracker in the Arc, so she's odds on, quite understandably, but you know, I think she probably sets a standard. And then, as John has already alluded to, you've got Sierra Leone and Fierceness, Renew and Rivalry once again having filled the first and second spots in the Classic 12 months ago. So that's sort of on the horse racing front, and then you look at the human front, and then we wave goodbye to Frank Dettori for about the 10th time this year.
Again, Frankie Dettori announcing a retirement once again. It's
going to go and ride in Brazil, isn't he, or somewhere like
that?
Yeah,
dude. But I don't know, Brett. Do you think we'll actually see like a little bit of money for a few of his horses now, in the expectation that he's probably likely to ride a winner on that night? Yeah,
I think there would be a lot of money for him, perhaps for maybe people's hearts ruling their heads. So he rides Wimbledon Hawkeye, doesn't he? I think for James Owen. So that could be quite an interesting mount for him. Of course, he went on him last time. But there will be a lot of people just putting their dollars down on Frankie, hoping he can ride a winner at America on Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, 100%. I can totally see it. I'm waiting to see the Frankie dismount. I'm sure we may be seeing one on Saturday night, so we'll wait and see there. Before we get the naps, there's one more thing to mention, is we spoke about Unibet's sponsorship of races. The Unibet Greatwood Hurdle is coming up. I love Unibet for anti-post bets, and they have so many different markets out. I'm actually having a look at the French 2,000 guineas market that Unibet, the only one's priced up with. I'm a big fan of Puerto Rico in that, so I'll have to have a few quid on this horse. But the Greatwood Hurdle, Brett, the Unibet Greatwood Hurdle the entries come out on Monday. Just tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so they came out on Monday. 33 of them. Looks on entries could be a very competitive race. Nicky Henderson's got a couple entered, Joyous and Ibrico Lord. Of course, Ibrico Lord, a previous winner. Those two are both going to go over fences this season, so I wouldn't be sort of getting too much involved on those. Celtic Dino just head the market though at around 10-1, and we have seen support for him as soon as entries came out. Of course, Celtic Dino for Sam Thomas and Di Walters was a very impressive winner of the Welsh Champion Hurdle a couple of weeks ago at Chepstow. So he's is our market at 10 to 1. Wheel falls there as well at 14s. Stick to the Plan, who won the Persian War at Chepstow. He's in there for Ollie Murphy. Give It To Me OJ, a winner at Cheltenham last time. He's in there as well at around 16 to 1. So no, it's going to be 2 weeks on Sunday, this race is 16th of November, so 33 entries. That will be whittled down, but no, as I said, go on to Unibet and have a look at what we've got to offer on that race.
Absolutely, yeah, look out for that there. Right, now time to get the best bets then, gents, for this week. And like I said, there's plenty of action going on. I'm just going to kick things off. I think that Protectorat is going to go and win the Charlie Hill at 257 at Wetherby on Saturday. Johnny's mentioned already, but I do think the form of this horse is just stronger than anything else in the field. I think the second behind John Bonnet Aintree is as strong as it gets. I think 85 to 40 is a really fair price for that horse. Harry Wilson, your nap, please.
Yeah, we're going to head to Ascot for the 310 and go with Alexi. The form behind Celtic Dino, I think, is going to work out really well. He came from a lot further back than the first and the third. He's off an unchanged mark, even though he improved for the run, and I think he's got a massive chance.
I'm getting the Harry Wilson twinkle in the eye there for this horse. I've got a feeling he really does like this horse. So it's Alexi for Harry Wilson. Jonny Pearson, please.
Well, there's a couple I like down in Australia, but I'll save you the bore of that here. And instead, we're going to go to 240 at Down Royal, and it will be Spillane's Tower.
Spillane's Tower then for John and Brett Williams, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Martator in the 205 at Ascot. Won the race last year off just a pound higher mark. He's come nicely down the weights. 3-time course and distance winner at Ascot. Likes good ground. Plenty of ticks in the right boxes. So Martator for me in a race where we are paying 4 places each way and money back as cash if you back the second or the third.
So there we go. There are naps on screen now. You can go over to Unibet.co.uk. You can get all the boosts there and all the offers that Brett mentioned during the show. So do head to the Unibet website for all of those. Don't worry, Johnny. I can give you a plug for your content here, but I'm here to plug some of the content we've got. We've got our short form content on the YouTube channel. You can check out the Punting Passport that we now have coming out that gives all the international guide. And Johnny will give some tips for the Australian racing. Do head over and check that out. Don't worry, mate. I've got you. Right, big thanks to the panel, as always, Jonny Pearson, Harry Wilson, and of course, subbing in Fred Nixon, Brett Williams, who is about to get out of his car and go watch racing at Stratford. So best of luck to him. But yeah, all the offers on unibet.co.uk. Thanks very much for watching. Do remember to gamble responsibly. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you again next Thursday for another Racing Postcast.